Welcome back to our channel. If you are here, that means that you absolutely nailed part 1. But are you ready for the real challenge? Because today we are tackling the kind of percentage problems that actually control your life. In part 2, we'll be dealing with the salary hikes, election results, population growth, and the ratios. Sounds exciting, right? Let's get started. You have mastered the basic percentages, but what happens when percentages keep changing and changing over time? See, if there is a percentage of single percentage in our question, we'll be calculating using basic problems. But what if the percentages are keeps changing? That means what if there are two or more than two percentages? That's where the compound percentage comes in. Why do we need compound percentage? Because basic percent works on one-time change, whether there is a single percent or there is a single change, like a single discount or a single price increase. But in real life, things doesn't change just once. They change repeatedly over the time. It's you just add up percentages, you won't get the right answers. That's why we use compound percentages instead. And the magic formula of compound percentage is F equals to P into 1 plus R divided by 100 whole power n, where n is the number of times the percentage change happens. N is the number of times the change happens. We said, right, a percentage if changes over and over again, we'll use a percentage of compound. So that n is the number of times the change has happened. And R is the percentage change. R is the percentage. Whether that is an increased percentage or it is a decreased percentage, it will be denoted with the R. And P is the initial value. P is the initial value given in the question. And F is the final value which we need to calculate after a percentage has been changed and changed over the time. So this is the basic for a compound percentage. In this part 2, we are dealing with the compound percentage itself. So this formula makes you sure every percent change is applied on the top of the previous one. Don't just add the percentages. Don't just add or subtract them. Use the compound percentages instead. Now that we know why the compound percentage formula is important, let's see where we actually use it in our real life. All right, let's talk about the salary percentages. So let's talk about salary hike. Who doesn't love making more money? Who doesn't love becoming more rich? Okay, your boss calls you and says that great news. When he calls you and say that there is a great news for you, your salary has been increased to 20%. Your salary has been increased to 20%. You're already planning shopping there, right? But wait, is he really giving a profit or is he fooling you? We have to calculate how much amount he is going to be give you. Initially, you'll be having some amount of salary, but when he comes and say that you have a great news and your salary hike is by increased by 20%, how much amount you are getting? How much amount you are really getting? We solve all these percentages problems, salary percentages using the compound formula. F is P into 1 plus R divided by 100 whole power n. Okay, a person's salary is 50,000 and is increased by 20%. Find the new salary. Initial salary is calculated using P, which is P equals to 50,000. And there is an increase of 20%. Percent of increase means it is denoted by R. Whether increased or decreased percentages, we write for R. R equals to 20% increase. Increase means we'll write plus here. So plus 20. Now we'll substitute this in our formula. And the final salary equals to initial salary, which is 50,000 into 1 plus R is 20. 20 divided by 100. And it is increased only one time. So n becomes 1 here. N becomes 1. 0, 0 gets cancelled and 2 1s, 2 5s are. So that is 50,000. LCM is 5 and 5 1s 5 plus here 1. So again 5 1s 5 and 5 1 0 0 0 0. Yeah, that means that 10,000 into 6, which is 60,000. So after a salary increase of 20%, your final salary will be 60,000. So from 50,000, after an increase of 20%, you'll be getting a 60,000 of salary. A salary of 40,000 is increased by 10% in the first year and 15% in the second year. Find the final salary. Okay, there is a double increase of salary, double percentage increase. We have two consecutive increases in a percentage. That means that we can't simply add 10% and 15% and say that there is an overall increase of 25%. No, that's wrong. So we'll calculate how to calculate the final salary step by step. So the current salary is 40,000. So initial salary is 40,000, and in the first year there is a 10% increase. 10% increase means there is a positive. That means plus 10% is the new salary. And in the second year we have 15% increase. That is also a positive increase, which is plus 15. And this 15% is not applied on the 40,000. This 15% is applied on the 10% increase of new salary. On the 40% of salary, whatever the amount after applying 10%, you will get the new salary, right? So on this new salary, you will apply this 15%, not on the initial 40,000 salary. Okay, don't just add the percentages. Okay, don't just add them. This is not how it works. Let's calculate them. Okay, initially first we'll apply for the first thing. The first year we get the 10% increase, right? So for that, new salary equals to initial salary into 1 plus, and the R is 10 here. We know that a formula, right? R is 10 divided by 100. So now 0, 0 gets cancelled, and 1 by 10, the LCM will be 10 here, and 10 plus 1 is 11. So overall 40,000 into 11 by 100. 0, 0 gets cancelled, and the result will be 11 fours, 44, and 3 zeros. That means that after 10% increase from 40,000 salary, the resultant salary is 44,000. Now, this second year 15% of increase should be added to this 44,000 salary, not to the 40,000 salary. Okay. So now initial salary will become 44,000. So new salary equals to 44,000 into 1 plus R is 15 here. 15 divided by 100. And cancelling 5 threes, 5 twos. Okay, now LCM becomes 20, and 20 plus 3 becomes 23. So 44,000 of 23. 0, 0 gets cancelled, 2 ones 2, and 2 twos 4, again 2 twos are 4, and double 0 here. So 23 into 22, which is 50,000, 50,600. So this is the final amount. So when we multiply 23 into 22,000, we'll get the resultant as 50,600. Initial salary is 40,000. When 10% of salary is increased, the salary became 44,000 in the first year. And in the second year, we have 15% of increase. So in second year, 15% should be added to first year increased salary, not to the initial salary. So the final, what is the final salary? Final salary is 50,600 is the final salary. Now, population growth. Population keeps changing due to the birth or due to death or due to migration or whatever it might be. It affects the cities or the towns. Using this population growth formula, we can easily predict the future or the past population also. So the formula which we use is F equals to P into 1 plus R divided by 100 into N, where N is the number of times there is an increase or decrease of the percentage. And R is the percentage of increase or decrease. Okay, let's apply this to some of the real world problems. A town's population is 50,000 and increasing by 5% annually. So initially the population is 50,000 and it is increasing 5% annually. Annually means per year. So for every year, there will be an increase of 5% in the population. That means that initially there will be 50,000. So when there is a 5% of increase in the first year, there will be a result of some population. Now, in the second year, if there is another increase of population, that should be added to this one, not to the initial 50,000. Okay, don't just add the second percentage to the first original value, add it to the previous one. Okay, a town's population is 50,000 and is increasing 5% annually. And they're asking us to find the population after 2 years. See, when a time period is given and a percentage is given and initial value is given, you can simply subtract in this formula, where N represents the time here. N is the time and R is the percentage. R is the percentage given in the formula, in the question, sorry. And P is the initial value, initial amount of people there in the town. So using this formula, you can simply calculate. Okay. Final population equals to annual rate is 5%. That means that R equals to 5. And we have T as 2 years because they're asking us to find after 2 years. The final population will become initial value, which is 50,000 into 1 plus R is 5 divided by 100 whole power N is 2 because after 2 years. Okay. 5 ones 5 and 5 twos 20. And sorry, 2, 5 twos 10 and the 0 reminder. And the LCM is 20 and the numerator will become 20 plus 1, which is 21. Whole power 2. 50,000 into 21 by 20 whole square. Okay, we'll write it using a simple one. 50,000 into 21 by 20. Again, by 21 by 20. 0, 0 and here two zeros gets cancelled. And two ones 2. To twos are 4. 1 will be the remainder. To 5 0 and two zeros. Again, two ones 2. To twos are 4. 1 will be left and two fives. So finally that is 125 into 21 into 21. So this is the final calculation. When we multiply this, what we get? 55,125. So 55,125 is the total population after 2 years. Initially there is a 50,000 and after 2 years the population has become 55,125. This is when after a 5% of increase in the population. Another real world example of the compound percentages is elections. Elections or voting. Elections are not just about the big speech or the posters. They also tells about the numbers and percentages. You can calculate how many votes the candidate won. So you can easily calculate how many votes are required for a candidate to win the election, or how many voters really voted for that election. So let's say that a candidate got 60% of the votes. So here in an election, the winning candidate gets 60%, and the total votes are 10,000. So candidate got 60%, but the total number of votes are 10,000. How many votes did the winning candidate actually get? How many votes did the winning candidate actually get? Or you can also find out what is the majority. What is the majority? Or you can also calculate by how many votes the candidate lost the election. By how many votes the candidate lost the election. So this compound percentage can be used in an entire concept of elections. Okay, and the formula which we use for simplification is majority to calculate the majority votes. To calculate the majority votes, we get the total votes into winning percent minus losing percent divided by 2. So if number of total votes are given in the question and either of the winning or lose percent is given, we can calculate the majority using this formula. Okay. In an election, the winning candidate gets 60% of the vote and total votes are 10,000. Find the majority. Okay, this problem can be done by using by calculating the number of votes actually the winning candidate got. So winning candidate got how many votes and the losing candidate got how many votes. By simply subtracting these two, we get the majority. Okay, first we'll calculate winning candidate. So okay, the total number of votes are 10,000 and the winning candidate got 60% of the vote. 60% of 10,000 votes. Total number of votes are 10,000. So 60 of 10,000, which is 60 divided by 100 into 10,000. So zeros gets cancelled and the answer is 6,000. So winning candidate got 6,000 votes. And calculating for the losing person. So if there is a winning of 60%, how much there should be a lose? There should be a losing of 40%. So 40% means 40 divided by 100 into 10,000. So for either the winning or the losing candidate, the total number of votes are constant. They do not change. So total is 10,000. So zeros get cancelled and the losing person got 4,000 votes. 4,000 votes the losing person got. Winning person got 6,000 and the losing person got 4,000. By what majority did the winning person got? By what majority did he won? Means by simply subtracting 6,000 minus 4,000, which is 2,000. So by 2,000 votes, this person won in the election. So using this compound formula, you can easily calculate the number of votes won by the winning person, the number of votes got for the losing person, and the majority of the election. This compound formula is very much essential in our real world examples. Percentages in ratio. Okay, let us assume that you are making a lemonade. Okay, and wondered how much lemon juice you have to actually put it in that drink. So, well, what percentage of lemon should you add? What percentage of water should you add? And what percent of sugar you should add? So, this is where the ratios in the percentages comes up. So, example, a solution contains the milk and water in the ratio of 3:2. Find the percentage of milk. Okay. Now you come to know that ratio of the mixture and you have to find out the single mixture. So to find out the single part, you use a formula. When there is two ratios A is to B and you have to calculate the A's part, you'll use the formula A divided by A plus B into 100. This gives the A's part. Similarly, now milk and water are in the ratio of 3 is to 2. Now you have to calculate the percentage of milk. That means that you have to calculate the milk percent. That equals to milk ratio, which is 3, divided by the total ratio is 3 plus 2, which is 5. 5 into 100. So 5 ones 5, 5 20s. 3 twos are 6. So that is a 60%. So the solution contains 60% of milk. So in the entire mixture, there is a 60% of milk in that ratio. Now it's time to put your skills to the test, but don't worry, we are solving this together. Now grab your pen and paper, let's crack these questions one by one. In an election between the two candidates, one candidate got 50% of the total valid votes, while 4% of the total votes are declared invalid. If the total votes are 50,000, find the number of valid votes. Okay. In an election, there are a valid as well as invalid vote. So total number of votes are 50,000. Total votes are 50,000 and the valid ones are 56% of total valid votes. While invalid are the 4% of the total votes. This is total valid votes and this is the total votes. Now we have to calculate the number of valid votes. Okay, so we'll be using a compound formula here. So yeah, total votes are 50 and we know that invalid votes are 4% of total votes and valid votes are, we have to find out. Okay, initially we'll calculate number of invalid votes. Invalid are 4% of the total votes. 4% means 4 divided by 100 of total votes are 50,000. So 50,000. 2 zeros get cancelled and the number of invalid votes are 2,000. Invalid are 2,000. Total votes are 50,000. So from this you can easily calculate the number of valid votes, right? Valid is equals to total minus invalid, which is 48,000. So 48,000 are the valid votes among the total of 50,000 votes. So using this simple compound formulas, you can easily calculate the votes. The population of a village grows 2% every year. If the current population is 10,000, find the population before 2 years. Okay, till now we saw that to calculate the population after 2 years, but now we have to calculate the past population. So imagine you visit your hometown after a few years and you suddenly feel that there is a packed with more number of people. That's because population grows every year. Now we have to calculate the population before 2 years. Initial population is 10,000. We know that the compound formula for calculating the population after 2 years or after n years, we use the formula as initial population into 1 plus r by 100 whole power n. But now we are using reverse or before. We have to calculate the before population. No, so we are reversing the value. So what is the formula means? Current population divided by initial value into 1 plus r by 100 whole power n. So for this reverse calculation, we use divided by initial value into compound formula. The population of a village grows 2% every year. If the population is 10,000, find the population before 2 years. Okay, till now we have calculated in future, but now we have to calculate the past population. So that means we are using the reverse formula here. Reverse formula is current population divided by 1 plus r divided by 100 whole power n. So till now we saw what initial population into 1 plus r by 100, but this is a reverse calculation, so we are dividing current population divided by 1 plus r. Okay, current population is 10,000. So 10,000 divided by 1 plus r is 2% here and divided by 100 whole power, time period is 2 years. So 2, that is 10,000 divided by, so 2 ones, 2 5 zeros. So 1 divided by 50 becomes 0.25. So the final answer will be 1.02 whole square. That means 10,000 divided by 1.0404. You can use it either fractions or you can directly calculate with numbers. So I'm using the fractions here. So the total value becomes 9,611. So before 2 years, the current population will be 9,611. As there is a 2% increase, now current population became 10,000. But before 2 years, it is 9,611. And now here's a quick question for you. Drop your answers in the comment box and let's see who gets it right. And that's the end of percentages. You have mastered some of the most important real life percentage calculations, from salary to election votes, from population growth to ratios. You can now crack any percentage problem like a pro. If you enjoyed this video, smash the like button, hit subscribe and turn on the notifications so you never miss more awesome math tricks. Stay tuned for the next one. Until then, bye bye.